Hi everyone, this is your Entrep Guru, Avinash Ramsabag, and I'm here to talk about e-commerce and growing the venture. First of all, we're going to take a look at exactly what is e-commerce. And e-commerce is looking at the buying and selling of goods or services. Yes, but it's also looking at other things such as transferring of funds and data over any form of electronic means. Our first major area, is the internet and its impact on venture development. How can the internet impact on venture development? The first one is speed and flexibility. So what we are looking at here is that the internet allows us to adapt at a faster rate than we would as a physical business. It also allows for less emphasis on size and space because of the fact that we would not necessarily be using a physical location. We can now depend on a virtual location, which is online. So our overheads, such as utilities and rental, will not be there. So we would not incur as much cost as before. In terms of volume, when you are selling over the internet, you are exposed to a wider market. And because of that, you are able to sell a lot more products than you would with a traditional brick and mortar business. Also, when it comes to the internet and its impact on venture development, it can also assist with regards to having a lower margin. Now, how is that a benefit? Is because of the fact that you are able to have a higher volume of sales and you may not have as much overhead costs. You can actually sell at a lower cost to customers, but because of the volume that you're selling, you can still make a higher profit than you would if you were a traditional brick and mortar business. We move on now to the approaches to e-commerce, and there are 6 areas that we take a look at. The first one is online banking or internet banking. Now, once it is that you have online banking, it allows for transactions to happen easier online, and therefore the transfer of funds are easier to take place. Remember, as we said before, one of the areas for e-commerce is actually the transfer of funds. We also have online shopping malls. And when we deal with online shopping malls, think about if you are walking into a mall, what could you see? You don't see one store, but you see a variety of stores, many different stores. And when we think about online businesses such as Amazon, Alibaba, AliExpress, you are able to go to those businesses and you will see a variety of different businesses. So when we talk about an online shopping mall, we are able to have many businesses that are in existence. Next one is a virtual community or virtual storefront services. And this is with a particular brand. You may go to their store, online store, and you will be able to buy any products that they in particular are selling. So this is when we have one particular brand that may be selling their products via some form of an online storefront. We also have partnership with existing payment facilities, and what this does is that it makes, again, transactions a little more seamless. When persons go onto your on your online site, they can actually pay now using some form of payment system, such as PayPal, in order to get their products without having to leave the comfort of their home. We also have internet service providers, and when we deal with this one, what we are looking at is the fact that these are the ones that make having an e-commerce system possible. The fact that we have internet service providers is what gives us that access to have that as access to having a platform for our business. And the last one we are looking at is private initiatives. Businesses can decide whether they want to build in-house or whether it is that they want to hire persons to build for them. In that case, they can weigh the pros and the cons in order to do so. We also have the factors to consider before launching into e-commerce. The first one that we'll look at is our networking potential. What is our overall ability of that network that we want to set up to interact with everyone that we need to? Are we able to do so, or is it limited in scope? That is one of the areas that we'll look at. The next one is the integration of the web into the overall strategy of the business. Is it that going online is something that your business really wants to do? Sometimes it is that businesses don't want to do that. It is not their choice. It is not their strategy. They prefer to deal with people in person, and therefore they may not decide. The next one is the importance of long-lasting relationships with customers. Sometimes it is that persons may feel that it may be better for them to have in-person relationships, so face-to-face relationships with persons, and therefore it may be a little better if it is that they do not put their store online. We also have ongoing investment in resources. A lot of persons who decide to go online, they don't think about what are the future costs. You also have to consider things such as maintenance and updates and upgrades to the platform. So therefore, you also have to consider that these are costs that will soon come. Data mining. Would you have that ability to do data mining? That is something that we always need to look at. What is data mining? It allows us to see patterns in data. It allows us to analyze these patterns and be able to develop some form of strategies with it in terms of how we can target our customers. Would our e-commerce business allow us to do so? That is something that we need to take a look at. We also have to take a look at it in assessing the online potential of Entrep. The first thing that we need to see is our appeal to customers. Is it something that is going to appeal to our customers? Sometimes customers may not like an online business. They may prefer to actually come in person. We may also have to take a look at our target market. Who exactly is our target market? If we are catering for an older audience who may not necessarily know how to use the internet properly, then it may not be best for you to put your business online. What are the distribution costs? Sometimes it is that, let's say we order an item here in Trinidad, someone orders from abroad, and they realize that it is costing them more than the actual cost of the item to ship it to them. They may not want to purchase. So we have to take a look at what is the cost to get it to the final customer. And then the last one is our cost versus our benefits. What is our potential to make money? Let's say we are going to put out about $100,000 in order to develop our website, and then afterwards we can only make $50,000 from it. So we really have to decide on what is our cost versus benefits, and that will mean that we have to do a proper analysis. We take a look now at the benefits of selling online. In this one here, the first thing that we look at is a greater global international reach. Obviously, when you go online, your local territory is not your boundary anymore. You can go beyond your local territory. You can go regionally, you can go internationally. Enhanced customer service and convenience. What happens is that when you are online, you are able to respond to customers very quickly. You are able to facilitate easier payments. You can get feedback from your customers very quickly also, and you may be able to address any issues that they may have. There's also greater interactivity in terms of communication, because websites can also be very interactive for customers, and they can also do things such as filtering searches and stuff in order to get the best results for them. We also have lower operational costs because of the fact that we don't have to have a physical space. So we may not have to pay employees, we may not have to pay rent, utilities, and stuff like that. In addition, we also have the ability to track customer purchases and sales results. Remember, I said before, we can do data mining. And because of that, when you're able to do so, you will be better able to cater to that customer. You also have the ability to spot new business opportunities. Sometimes it is that based on your tracking of data, you may realize that customers are coming in asking for one particular item, or based on their searches, we can identify a trend in terms of the searches. And therefore, you will be able to say, okay, well, let me maybe stock this instead. Let me start selling something new, right? Something that customers have been asking for all the time. Now, there are myths about e-commerce. First one we have, setting up a business on the web is easy and inexpensive. Really and truly, it's not easy at all. Think about if you have thousands of items and you have to put that up onto the web. Think about in terms of how much in terms of development that is going to be also, development costs. So sometimes it is that setting up a website can run you into hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it can be very difficult to do also. If you launch a website, customers will flock to your site. Now, think about if you do a Google search for any type of business, how many businesses would you see coming up? You have to start thinking to yourself now, how do I get people to my site? So they are not just going to come all at once. You have to develop a strategy in order to get them to get to your business. Making money online is easy. If that was the case, then all businesses that are online will be making money. You have to compete against everybody else. There's a lot more competition online. And what has happened over time is that in many countries, they do not have full enforcement of laws when it comes to dealing with informal businesses being set up online. So many times you're competing with so many businesses because it is so easy to establish. Privacy or security is not an important issue. Think about if you use your credit card online and everybody knows your number and they're able to use your card also. Privacy or security is very important, because otherwise what can happen, if you leak data, then what is going to happen? Nobody is going to want to come to buy from you again. Next one is technology is the most important element. If technology was the most important element, then we are eliminating the personal point of view. Customers need to like your business. Customers need to want to come to your business. And therefore, the way in which you can do so is through establishing good customer service. So it is important to understand that technology is not the most important element. You do not need a strategy on your website. If you don't develop an e-commerce strategy, what will happen is that your e-commerce business will fail. You have to have an idea of how you're going to promote that business. You're going to have an idea how you're going to make money off of that business. You're going to have an idea how you're going to create value for the customers. How are you going to receive that money? All of those things. You need to know how you're going to develop that business. So you have to have a strategy. And then the last one, customer service is not as important. We addressed that one a bit before. At the end of the day, it is the customer who is important. So therefore, the service that you provide to the customer is going to make your business, or it can break your business. We move on to the next area, which are the strategies for the success of e-commerce. And the first one that we look at is data mining. What happens is that if we are able to track our data, we are able to spot those patterns in the data, and we will be able to make informed decisions in terms of things such as pricing, in terms of our product itself, what do we offer, in terms of our promotional strategies, and also in terms of our placement or accessibility of the product. Developing an online marketing plan, that is very important. When you are online, you are going in a certain direction for your business. It may be a growth strategy, and therefore you need to be able to determine how you are going to be operating online. Sometimes it is that you may be targeting a completely different audience. Sometimes it is that you may have to develop different types of promotional strategies in order to get people to come to that business. We also should develop a community around your product. So what you can do is use things such as social media to develop a community around it, so people will get more interested in that product itself. And therefore, when persons get more interested in it, you can actually push your product within that community. You can also attract by giving freebies. Now, when we say freebies, you don't have to just give samples. You don't have to give away things. You can also give discounts. You can give coupons, things like that to interest customers or attract customers to your business and get them to buy your product. Creative use of emails. Many times we send emails to persons and it's just generic emails. You have to start thinking about different ways in which you can send emails. Things that will get people to notice and maybe want to read it and maybe want to come to your business. Ensuring safety of customer data. Sometimes it is that you have to guarantee that customers' information is going to be safe. Having things such as a firewall to make sure and protect persons' data. That is very important. ensuring website appeal and credibility. You have to make sure that your user friendliness of your website is very good. When people come to your website, it cannot be difficult for them to navigate the website because then they would not want to come again. You can also form strategic alliances with other businesses. Sometimes other businesses can assist you in terms of getting your product out. So you may decide to team up with a courier service. You may decide to team up with Amazon to get your product out on the market and maybe expand your market. Focus on a niche market. Sometimes it is that it may not be the best move to focus on a general market and just target everybody. You may not have the budget to do so. It may waste your time also. So it may make sense then to focus on a particular niche and target that niche rather than targeting a general market. And lastly, what we can also look at is promoting the site both online and offline. Sometimes we depend too much on the online promotion because we are online, but sometimes imagine you're driving down the road and you see someone advertising on a billboard and your website is there. So sometimes it is that doing promotions online and offline can actually be more effective. So that's it for today. I want to thank you all again. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Entrep Guru, Avinash Ramspan. Take care. Bye.